What is up YouTube? And today we're going to be talking about the new summer limited unit that is coming out next week on your screen here, and that is going to be, of course, Festive Ada, otherwise known as Summer Ada. She is a fire mage, which is pretty interesting because of the fact that, it's kind of seems like she'd be an ice unit, I guess, with all of this like water everywhere, but I guess they just want to, balance the elements, and this is her design. She looks pretty cool. Yeah, not really much to say about it, but yeah, this is what her design is. If you guys want to check it out, you guys can actually look at this video teaser on the official Epic 7 YouTube channel. But today, let's actually just talk about, how she'll actually do in gameplay and, in PvP and also possibly PvE content as well. So these are her stats. Pretty fast, 120 speed, not the fastest, right? She's still decently fast. She doesn't have any effectiveness or effect resist built into her awakenings, which is pretty interesting. However, that went kind of fast. However, she does get effectiveness from her imprint concentration, which is interesting. Usually units that get effectiveness from their concentration imprint usually get effectiveness like up to 30% from their awakenings as well, but she doesn't. So I assume she's gonna use debuffs, but it might be hard to use because she doesn't really get that much from her base stats in terms of effectiveness. But we'll see how she is. She has pretty good attack, pretty bulky as well for a mage. And let's actually look at her skills and her kit here to actually see how good she'll actually be. So let's actually look at her skill 3 first. Let me give it a try. It's an AoE attack that will actually have an 85% chance to silence and a 100% chance to put unbuffable for 2 turns. And the silence is going to be for 1 turn, and this cannot be affected by cooldown increase and decrease effects. So basically this is very similar to Angel of Light's S3, except that it's an attack skill, which can be worse or better in certain situations, right? If you use this into a Celine, it's a lot better because she can actually S2 and then cut and then S3 and one-shot someone. But if you use this against like a unit that can counterattack, like Abyssal Euphine and stuff like that, yeah, obviously you're gonna get counterattacked. So it's good and bad, but in general, I think it's going to be worse, mostly because you are missing that 15% to silence, which is pretty annoying. Like, you're going to get resisted very often, and this skill cannot be affected by cooldown increase and decrease effects. It's going to be very good into Noggle, right? Because Noggle can't push back your cooldown on this, but also this cannot get shortened by like Laya's S2. So it is a double-edged sword. Obviously, even though it's a double-edged sword, it does have more positive benefits to not be affected by cooldown increase and decrease. But still, you have to keep in mind, Laya, if you pick her with Festive Ada, you can actually help her with the skill cooldowns. And this is gonna be the animation. The main animation for her skills will be on her S2. You can see that this is just an AoE attack, so looks pretty cool. But the main skill here is going to be on her skill 2, and it's a passive. You're going to see at the start of battle and at the end of the turn, grant stealth for 1 turn. Very, very similar to how Moonlight Politis, Sea Phantom Politis' S2 works. You're also going to see at the start of your turn, when you're not stealthed, you will dispel all debuffs and grant yourself Shyness for 1 turn. And this can activate every 5 turns, and after you attack when granted Shyness, you'll activate Expected Outcome, which is an extra attack. You'll AoE attack, dispel 2 buffs, push back CR by 50%, which is pretty crazy, and also have an 85% chance to decrease defense. So a lot of things in this passive. Basically, you have that stealth, and if you get knocked out of stealth by like an AoE attack or something, basically the next turn you'll get Shyness, and then you can AoE attack, dispel 2 buffs, and then also see your pushback and decrease defense, which is very powerful. The only thing is, this is pretty hard to actually activate unless you pick her against certain units, right? You're gonna have to pick her against like maybe Captain Landy, maybe like Bellions, ML, Bellona and stuff like that, or Abyssal Euphine. So I guess there are a lot of meta units that this works against, but it's gonna be very hard to actually make use of her because realistically, I really think that you're only gonna get this off like on her 3rd turn, honestly. So it's kind of hard to actually use it. But maybe it is gonna be very powerful, right? Not just AoE attacks, right? Dispels and strips are very good as well. So Conquerlius and stuff like that can also remove the stealth for her. This is a very powerful extra attack. The only thing is, you have to see how much damage it'll actually do. And in Cleave, she's not going to really be that great. And her kit just seems very weird, because if you think about it, right, you're going to be silencing the enemies, and if you silence like a Conquerlius, they can't actually remove the stealth from you because they can't really S3. so it's pretty weird, honestly. So kind of just feels like Biblis kind of, where they have her on a lot of debuffs, and you just gotta pray that the what's it called, the prerequisites kind of line up. And yeah, I think it's a very clunky unit. I don't think she'll be that great just based off her S2 and how her S3 is right now. But let's see what the damage is like on her S2. So the animation's great, and the damage, I think mostly you're gonna, oh, that's really crappy damage, but I guess it does defense break and push back. So yeah, I'm not really too sure. This just seems very weak. You know, the CR pushback is nice and the defense break is nice. I think it's a very good way to actually allow your units to, you know, do a lot of damage. But yeah, it's very, very clunky, it feels like. But yeah, this is our S1, single target attack, you know, chance to decrease hit chance for 1 turn. Nothing too crazy, right? You can soul burn it to decrease hit chance for 2 turns and it'll be 100%. See the damage here. Yeah, I think mostly she'll be like a support bridge unit. Nothing too crazy, just like, you know, a normal unit that will be honestly not that great. Next we have her artifact, effectiveness increase on her artifact. Also, you'll see when you attack and the target is inflicted with a debuff, you'll increase CR. So this is going to be very, very nice for a lot of debuffing mages here, but to be quite honest, there's not really that many good debuffing mages, right? And a lot of the ones that are good, such as like ML Luna and stuff like that, you are most likely going to want Toggel's Ancient Book. But for Summer Ada, because her soul burn isn't that strong, right? It's just whatever. You probably do want this artifact. It'll allow her to cycle faster, get her S3 and S2 back up, and just take more turns. So I think this artifact will be, you know, probably a must buy because it'll be good on her, and honestly, maybe some other mages that I'm not thinking about. But yeah, I think it's just whatever. Yeah, this banner doesn't seem too crazy. Honestly, she's like a very good trophy lobby unit to put in the lobby, and her animations are great. But I think Smilegate just kind of did a meh job on her kit. She doesn't really look that, you know, broken or anything. She'll be available on the 8th of August, so you can pick her up there for 2 weeks. But you know, honestly, I think that her kit is just whatever, right? It's just really weird. She doesn't have any effectiveness built in, which is really weird just from her base stats already. And even though she's very fast, you don't really care about her speed as much as other openers, because even though her S3 is pretty good here, her main thing is going to be getting knocked out of stealth and then S2ing. It's not like she can actually open for your team on the first turn. Yes, this is pretty good for a silence and unbuffable, but there is chance you get RNG'd. And honestly, you know, for cleavers, it's not going to be that great. And honestly, also for just regular people that just play normally, like standard, even if you build her fast, right, it's just whatever, because you need her to be on high effectiveness. And in the current like tank meta, right, there is a lot of effect resist, so I feel like you have to choose between speed and also, let me look at her stats again, her speed and also her effectiveness, because she's literally getting 0 help from her awakenings, which is very weird. But yeah, I'm just curious what you guys think about her. I think she's just a meh unit. I don't think she'll be that great, but honestly, it feels like a unit that you have to kind of test out into a lot of team comps to actually see, because her kit is so complex and I guess unique. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about her on first glance. And yeah, I'll see you guys next video.